Hello, my name is Cassie. I am a full-time working mom of a 2-year-old. I'm in my 40s, and I have consistently been lifting heavy for over 25 years. And I'm here to talk about how I make that work. What do I do? What does my day-to-day look like? And some tips and tricks I can share to help you out, my fellow moms, full-time working moms, people who don't have help, if you don't have a village, all these things people say you have to function. We don't have any of that, but we make it work because that's what moms do. Today I will briefly discuss scheduling, my secret weapon, my workout splits, and my biggest struggle area, which is sleep. Who'd have guessed that? So first I would just discuss my day-to-day life. What does that look like? How does everything kind of flow together? Sometimes it doesn't flow very well. That's what I'm going to start with. But I work a full-time corporate job. I work in technology. I'm technically Monday through Friday, you know, that 8 to 5 type lifestyle. But I also have to work some overnights because I work in technology. So I do work some weekends, some overnights, some upgrades, various things that happen in that regard. And it does mess up my schedule quite a bit, but I do try to work around it as best as I can. So I will talk about that when I talk about my secret weapon. So I don't have a village. I don't have help. We have one family member who helps us sometimes, but she just had surgery, so she will be out, and she's been kind of out of commission for a while. So really don't have anybody. I don't have any babysitters. My daughter does go to daycare every day, and that is full time. And so daycare pickup and drop off are very much part of my schedule that I do every single day and have to figure out. Additionally, I live out in the middle of nowhere. We have no delivery options available. There's no DoorDash, there's no pizza delivery, there's no grocery delivery. And so all of that has to fit in somehow. So we've got that, we've got the work. I cook dinner every single night because takeout is few and far between. I also walk the dog every single day. He is a senior dog, so he requires a lot of attention, a lot of vet appointments, which take a lot of time out of my day. Of course, I do all of the doctor's appointments for myself and my daughter. All those things have to happen. I run that show. I do have a partner. He's very helpful. So we talked about my day-to-day, and I did mention in the introduction, I do struggle with sleep. I think a lot of parents struggle with sleep, unless you're gifted with a unicorn sleeper, which we are not. But I've also struggled with sleep since I was a child. Since I was about 8, I've always had a hard time with sleep, with my circadian rhythm, and I've been working so hard for many years to try to fix that. I am up to, on average, 6 hours of sleep per night, but it's rare that I get a lot more than that. I am trying to improve that every little bit. I try all the tips and tricks. Down the line here, I may discuss some of those and what I've done to help myself and what has worked and has not worked for me. I don't think this video will cover that. That's a little bit too in-depth, but open to talking about that further. The second thing I wanted to discuss is my workout split. And what is a workout split? A workout split is essentially take every workout plan you want that week and figure out when you're doing those things. I have a 5K at the end of May, and I have about 4 weeks to train for it. I don't have expectations that are huge right now. I'm really just getting back into running. I really just want to finish it and not die. That's my goal. And a 5K, it shouldn't kill me, don't get me wrong. But I would love to be able to have a time goal, but right now I'm just so restarting everything that's just not feasible. And so I know I want to get 2 runs in per week right now. I do have a loose plan on what I want to do for that. And then I also still am a weightlifter. I've been a weightlifter since I was 14. I'm now 41, which is a palindrome. But how do I fit all of that in? And how do I make sure I have ample recovery time with all of that? So recovery time is very important when you're weightlifting, especially with the heavier you lift, the more recovery time you need. That's where your body really, really builds muscle and starts to feel good, is recovery time. And so everything I do is with that goal in mind. When am I lifting? How often am I lifting? When am I running? How long am I running for? When am I doing recovery, mobility? When am I doing some zone 2? When am I walking the dog? When am I doing all of these things? How am I fitting all of them in and still getting work done, still picking up my daughter from daycare, still cooking dinner every night, still doing all of the tasks I have to do? And it can feel a little bit overwhelming, but I promise it's not. It just takes a little bit of dedication, a little bit of consistency. That said, my current workout split is actually shifting right now. So prior to about 2 weeks ago, I was on a very steady lift 4 days per week, sometimes 5. And those 4 days consisted of 2 upper body days and 2 lower body days. And the 5th day was sometimes some kettlebell conditioning, because that's really fun to throw a kettlebell around. I really like to try to hit most muscle groups twice per week. That seems to be the most efficient when we look at the research. And so my current shift, what I'm trying to shift into right now, is 3 lifting days per week. I've got 1 upper, 1 lower, and 1 full body day is my current goal. And then 2 running days per week. So that's 5 main workout days per week. That leaves me with 2 active recovery days, which I think is pretty good. I can work with that. And so that's what I am currently programming in. Now, once summer starts to come to an end, I will shift that again, because I really want to do strongman training. It's one of my bucket list items that I do a strongman competition. I've never done one. And I just really think they're amazing. They're amazing athletes, and it just seems like such a cool group of people, and they're just so supportive and kind, and I just really want to be part of that. And I haven't done that yet, but I have my eye on the competition I want to do. I have a training plan in mind, and yeah. So currently we'll discuss my workout split. I will show you when I talk about my secret weapon. I also like to do yoga and Pilates. I shouldn't say I like Pilates. I actually don't really like Pilates, but I do find it very effective. So I do throw in a little bit of Pilates here and there into my workouts. I don't add that on my scheduling because it's just part of the workout programming. I am over 40, as I said. I have dealt with my fair share of injuries. I've also rehabbed my fair share of injuries. And I will say this, weightlifting is amazing at rehabbing injuries if you do it right. Now, I have seen many physical therapists. I love physical therapy. I think physical therapy is amazing. And I still do a lot of my PT exercises every single week, especially because running for me causes me more injuries if I don't keep up on that. So I really try to keep up on those. And I will discuss those further in future videos, I think. All right, it's time. The secret weapon. I feel so silly talking about this. What is my secret weapon? You're gonna laugh. It's so ridiculous. Yep. It's an appointment book. No, my secret weapon is actually time blocking. And it sounds very basic and very simple, and people talk about it a fair amount. But I find a lot of people don't actually do it. They don't actually practice it in real life. I find it so important and so beneficial because it makes it a non-negotiable. So what is time blocking? Time blocking is taking your week. I go to week time period. Taking your week, I take all my work meetings, all the doctor's appointments, daycare pickup, daycare drop off, grocery shopping, every little task that I need to do, I put it all on a calendar, and then I try to figure out when can I fit my workout in? When can I walk the dog? When can I work out? And I put it on the calendar. And then I take that and I put it on my actual work calendar and I block that time. And it makes it non-negotiable for me. Now, sometimes things have to shift, right? Sometimes there are last minute changes. You get a last minute meeting. I will adjust, obviously. You have to be adaptable. But 90% of the time, this works very, very well for me. And I'm really able to get in there and get it done. And what I find particularly beneficial about doing this is it kind of it takes away the boogeyman aspect of this workout. Sometimes it can feel so daunting that you're like, are you kidding me? I have to go deadlift 300 pounds right now. It's I don't have time for that. I'm too stressed out. I'm too tired. I didn't sleep well last night. This, the other thing. List it off. You can find all the excuses in the world, right? We all do it. It's part of being human. But when I put it on the calendar, I don't let myself use those excuses. I just show up. I know what I'm doing that day. It's planned. It's scheduled. I'm just going to show up. I'm going to get my workout done. And that's that. Now, do I adjust? Of course. If I'm really tired that day, if I'm really feeling weak, I will lower my weights. I will adjust my reps. Whatever I need to do, I will do that, because it's really important that you honor your body and you honor where you're at. But the vast majority of the time, by the vast majority of the time, I mean just about every time, once I start that workout, I'm good to go. All those excuses fall away and we just get it done and we move on with our lives, and that's that. And so I find it really, really helpful. And I have suggested it to people before and they just are like, I'm not doing that. And that's fine, but this really works for me. So next I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna pull this up, I have a video how I do this. So I already preloaded my work week next week for my meetings in here. I will say next week is a very light week for me. So don't judge me too much, but we're gonna start there and I'll show you what it looks like. Also, I really like writing it with pen and paper. There's just something about that works really well for me. And so what I like to do is I like to write in here with pen and paper, and then I take that and I translate it into my calendar. All right, here we go. So this is our current week as I'm recording this, so it will be behind once this is done. But I just wanted to show you how I time block, and I do love a color coordinated system. So the first thing I did here was kind of update this calendar to the best of my ability with what I currently have going on. So I don't have a ton of meetings at the moment, which is nice. A project is picking up soon, so that will probably get worse. But right now it's been nice. I can actually get some work done. And so I just kind of plug those in. And this is why I'm not sharing my actual calendar for work, because I don't, that's information I probably shouldn't be sharing on the internet. So I just did generic meetings. And then I have daycare drop-off. I do daycare drop-off just about every morning. I don't always do daycare pickup, but I do allot time for it because my partner's work, sometimes he has to work late and then I have to go get her. So it's better if I just allot the time. And if I don't need it, I don't need it. I can keep working, whatever the case. So these rest periods are, I know I mentioned earlier that I do work overnight sometimes for my job. So I have to work overnight these nights. And so I just blocked time for rest. And I don't have daycare drop off this day because when I do that, I don't fall asleep till like 4:35 a.m. So it's really not safe for me to be driving. So my partner does daycare drop off. And then I've got pink is my daughter's stuff. So these are the things for her. Green I try to do for personal stuff. So I had a dentist appointment on this day. And then this is my drive time because it's 30 minutes away. And I do that with just about everything. So this is drive time as well. So I've got that, and now I can plug and play my workouts. So the first thing I need to do here is write down the workouts I want to do. And I'm gonna do those in this color. So I want to do, as I mentioned, I'm gonna currently do an upper body lift day, a lower lift day, and a full lift day. Additionally, I want to do 2 runs per week, 1 tempo or speed workout run and 1 long run. I also want 1 mobility / zone 2 cardio day per week minimum. Sometimes I'll throw in a bonus one if I have time. And then I also schedule 1 complete rest day. I maybe do yoga, I'll maybe do like a gentle or yin type yoga. It depends on my mood, but I will do some sort of rest or yoga. So I've got all those, and now that I know what I want to do, I'm just going to plug and play them. So I've been currently running on Wednesdays and Sundays. It's been working pretty well. I really wanted to do Tuesdays and Saturdays, but Saturdays are just not working out for me lately. So I switched it to Sundays, and that's been going okay. So I'm going to do that on Sunday. So Sunday, I will plan it for around when my daughter naps, which she doesn't always nap. So if she doesn't nap, she's almost 3. So if she doesn't nap, then I'll just, her dad will watch her while I go running. So we'll do our long run. And that will include some physical therapy work as well after, but my long runs aren't that long right now. So an hour is fine for that. And then my other run I'll do Wednesday. So Wednesday, we'll do 1 p.m. tempo run. Okay, so I've got my 2 runs. And next I need to do the other ones. So we've got that done, and then we want to do, upper lift, lower lift, full lift. All right, so the main thing here for me and why I try to plan this out is I really struggle to do some lower body lifts the day after a run. Things, especially like squats and lunges, my knees can struggle with that. Even though my knees are in pretty good shape now from all the lifting I do, they still will struggle. So I try not to schedule any lower body work the day after a run. A day before it is fine. So what I'm gonna do this week is I'm gonna do a full body day on Monday. And then I'm gonna do lower on Tuesday, so the day before my run. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plan this as my rest day. And the reason I'm doing that is because of this overnight. So typically the first overnight, I have 7 coming up, is the worst one for me. And then I kind of get into the groove and it gets a little bit better. So because of this, I'm gonna do rest day this day. And then Friday, I will do 1 p.m. to 2. Let me do my upper lift. And then same thing, nap time on Saturday. We will do mobility and zone 2 cardio. So that's kind of what it's gonna look like now. Now what I'll say is this, I do plan this once a week at the start of the week. And then I what I do is every week I plan this on Sunday or Monday, and then the day of I will go in and make adjustments. So every morning after daycare drop off, the first thing I do is time block my day. And that gets more into the nitty gritty. So I'll plan all of the things I need to do for work and I'll block the time off. And then I'll just adjust based on what's going on. So if I have more meetings than I initially thought, I will shift things around as I need to. Sometimes these have to go down here after my daughter goes to bed. It's not my favorite, but we do what we must to survive. So sometimes I will shift them. In a perfect world, I would love to get up at 5 in the morning and do my workouts, but that currently is not in the cards because my daughter does not always sleep through the night. And if I were to get up at 5, I would be getting 4 hours of sleep, and that just doesn't feel sustainable. So this is my full week of workouts and work and things I have going on. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you had fun learning with me. And if you try it, let me know. If you try to time block your week, let me know how it went for you. And what are some tips and tricks maybe I can give to help you improve on that process.